When we mention electric vehicles, I think there's a lot of questions that consumers have. What can you tell us about electric vehicles, and when can technology be available to the general public? And are there plans for installing centrally located charging stations?
Well, electric vehicles do not have an internal combustion engine. So there is an electric motor, and this is the second wave of actually the third wave of electric vehicles, because Henry Ford, when they were developing the internal combustion engine, also there were many electric vehicles on the road at the turn of the century. And then in the early 90s, we had the second wave, and that didn't last too long because petroleum prices went down. But we're now about to ride this third wave, and we think it's going to be here for a while. And as I mentioned earlier, all the major auto manufacturers in the next 2 or 3 years will have full-size electric vehicles available. The first one out is the Nissan Leaf, and that should be available beginning the end of this year. A North Carolina resident will have to go to Virginia to buy one, because there aren't any dealers here that are going to be offering them. But there are going to be a number of charging stations. However, the city of Raleigh, we're actually through our Clean Fuel Advanced Technology project funding 3 stations for the city of Raleigh. So they'll be in very convenient places for folks in the city, public lots or on the street. Then Advanced Energy, a nonprofit based here in Raleigh, has a grant where they're going to be putting in, I think, over 60 charging stations in the area. I also wanted to mention we, through our Clean Fuel Advanced Technology project, are funding RTI to put in a few charging stations. So I think increasingly you're going to see employers in particular putting in charging stations to relieve what we call our range anxiety, because that's one of the biggest challenges to getting the public a widespread acceptance for electric vehicles, because they can only go so far, and then they need to be plugged back in.
And the electric car is probably at this stage the only system or only vehicle that impacts the electric supply area, because we have to charge using electricity. And then the question comes, if the electric car becomes really popular, will the electric supply system have the capacity during peak hours or off peak hours, and how do you actually do that? And what I like people to realize is, when we talk about electricity, we talk about the power plant. The power plant for a vehicle is the engine. And the fuel, whether it's gas, biodiesel, natural gas, or all of the things that drive that engine. And the engine is being changed. And whether it's a natural gas engine or electric engine, we're trying to do all kinds of things to reduce the greenhouse gases that we have.